Hi, everybody. Welcome to a special edition of KARLTON Says Real Talk. We are actually doing a Christmas edition this time, and I am here. I have the pleasure of talking with today jazz artist Miss Debbie Kirkland. How you doing today, Miss Debbie?
I'm doing well, Carlton. Thanks so much for having me on the show.
No problem. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk with me today. Now, Debbie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a jazz artist, as you say, and I hail from the Washington. Well, I actually was born and raised in Washington, D.C., but have lived quite a few other places and traveled quite a bit. And I have been, doing music for a while. And right now I've got, a Christmas song coming up and out the door, and that's what, I'm here to mention to your listeners today. But I went to the Duke Ellington High School for the Performing Arts. I was a dancer. I got my music degree in classical voice from the University of Maryland. Let's see, I sing in 9 languages. I'm an artist, and I'm a mom, and my kids are grown. And I'm actually working on a new project now that I've finished this new video and song, Back Off Santa. I'm working on a new project that will include another video and a song the inspiration for that song is based on Miles Davis. So
Okay.
I'm back out and I'm doing my thing.
Awesome. Now, why, because you mentioned your background with music and everything, but why like jazz music specifically? What drew you towards, that genre? Because I love jazz music. I think jazz music is so soothing. But what specifically made you say, hey, I want to go this route?
It's kind of funny because I always say when you're an artist or in life in general, when you have a passion and you try not to do it, you really find that it picks you. You don't necessarily pick it. Jazz is something that I was around as a child, and my mom played the blues. She played everything from Sergio Mendes to Henry Mancini. I grew up loving pop and rock, and I went to high school with some notable artists. Duke Ellington has pumped out quite a few notable artists, and we had this one section of guys, and they were like totally into the cool jazz scene, Miles Davis and Thelonious Monk, and just John Coltrane. They like the old school jazz. And I was like, well, what are y'all doing? So I would listen to it, of course, and I was like in my rock phase pretty hard. But I liked everything my whole life. I've always been drawn to just whatever good music was. But as I grew up, at 13, a friend of mine left an album over at my house, 2 albums, which I still have in my possession to this day. And they were Pat Metheny albums. And I was like, oh my gosh, he's awesome. He's a guitarist who I just adore. And then I started listening, and then it made me want to sing it, but there are no words. So I started scatting. And then George Duke, when I hit about, I'd say 15, he came out with Brazilian Love Affair. And I just lost my mind on that one because I love, to this day, if you come see me perform, I always sing in Portuguese. There's always going to be a couple songs in Portuguese. It's fabulous language. And I just feel so close to that music. And he recorded Brazilian Love Affair. I fell in love with it, and that was that. And then from there, I just started listening. I've always listened to everything. I still listen to everything. And when I write music, I actually write in different genres. But for me, it just was kind of funny. I didn't try to become a jazz artist. It's just what I kind of was drawn to. And when I was at the University of Maryland, I had an opportunity to study with a couple of notable artists in our area, and they had this workshop. I started doing that, and it just worked for me. And just the verse and the phrasing and the interpretations and jazz, it just worked for me. And even in my classical dealings, I would tend to go 20th century because I love the fact that it has jazz chords. You got 11ths, 9ths, flat 5s, things like that. So it just kind of drew my ear. It wasn't an intentional thing. I just gravitated towards it because it spoke to me, I think, stronger than any other genre.
Okay, great. That's interesting. Very interesting. Now, like I had a chance to hear Back Off Santa and some of your other songs. Very beautiful music. Matter of fact, guys, you guys are listening. If you're listening to the music in the background, you guys are listening to her new single, Back Off Santa. Now, tell us, what inspired you to write this song?
I didn't write it, first of all.
Uh-oh.
My writing partner. I'm not going to take credit. My writing partner, Joe DeCaro, wrote that song. And he wrote that song before he met me.
Okay.
And right before he met me. And so we would meet weekly to write together. And he said, well, I wrote this Christmas song. And Joe was a session player in LA for many years. He lives in Baltimore now. And we would, get together as much as we could to write. And he's like, I wrote this song. And I was like, all right, well, let me hear it. And I was like, all right, well, we should record it. So I found a studio. We recorded it. And then I didn't have any more energy or resources to do anything else. And he didn't have anything going on. And I was like, well, we need to do a video, but whatever, we'll get it done. So finally, this past March of 2013, I had an opportunity to start the video, and boy did I. So I casted it, and it took a bunch of different forms. At first it was going to be me as the main character, and then I'm like, you know what, I kind of want this quirky thing where we're off to the side. And because typically writers and like sidemen, like a guitarist, would never be featured, I wanted him in it.
Okay.
And so I pulled him in it, and it's really just the cutest thing, but we had, I casted it. It's taken me months to do it, just for that 3 minute and 1 second video. But it's really awesome, so I hope everybody goes on Vivo or YouTube to check it out, because it's just it was created to put a smile on your face. But because I am the mother of 2 grown women now, I have to tell you, Christmas time was always really, really exhausting. Mm-hmm. And so I figure, with Joe's lyrics and with my vision of the video, it was just the perfect thing. So I created this idea of just how I felt at Christmas time. And I was always looking forward to December 26th because I was tired. And I don't know about you, Carlton, but, some people believe that their mothers exist to make their day better. And we love you all. It's not like we don't love you, but it's tiring. At Christmas in particular, I'd be up till 4 a.m. Christmas morning, wrapping gifts, making sure everything's done, and the meal would be at my house, and all these people, and it would always have to be a fabulous meal, and I always wanted to be over the top with that stuff because I want people to be happy when they get to come to my home. So, I was just ready for December 26th typically because I knew I could sleep. So I just wanted to do this video to put a smile on people's faces at Christmas time because it's just cute. It looks like a Christmas classic, and it sounds like a Christmas classic. And I've had people come to me and say, wow, I loved it. And that song, it's so catchy. I can't get it out of my mind because it's that catchy. But they're like, but who recorded it first? And I always laugh and go, me? Because it's got that flavor to it. It sounds like a Christmas classic. The video's a throwback. If you remember I Love Lucy, Lucille Ball, and I don't know if you know who Laura Petrie was, but on the Dick Van Dyke Show, Mary Tyler Moore's character, it was really supposed to be a cross between those 2 shows. That's how I felt her in that era. So it's a throwback to the 40s and 50s, but with a serious little twist to it. And so that's it. What inspired me was how tired I was and how I really looked forward to December 26th coming.
Awesome. Well, definitely that song definitely puts a smile on my face. I love listening to it. Now, if people want to hear Back Off Santa or any other of your songs or even catch the video, how can they do so?
Well, what you can do is you can go to YouTube and put in Back Off Santa or Debbie Kirkland. And then from there, it'll take you straight to, the link. You can click on the video, you can click it on, and there it is. And then the other thing is on my Facebook page, it's posted, Debbie Kirkland, Jazz Vocalist, and you can like my page. And I love that stuff because I get to see who's in my network. And it's posted on Debbie Kirkland, Jazz Vocalist as well. And you can also tweet me if you forget any of it at Debbie Kirkland Jazz on Twitter. Deb Kirkland Jazz, D-E-B. Deb Kirkland Jazz on Twitter. So, there are a lot of ways, and I love to hear, how people like it and what they think. So just shout back to me, and that's always appreciated. But you can go, it's a Vivo video, so you can find it. It's around. If you put in Back Off Santa, if you just Google Back Off Santa or Debbie Kirkland, you'll find it.
Awesome. Now, I know that we are in the Christmas spirit. But again, KARLTON Says is a blog about television now. I know you're very busy with your music. If you do have time to watch television, what shows do you like watching on TV?
Oh, me, it's funny. Okay, I'm going to admit something to you. I don't really watch a lot of television.
Okay.
I really don't, and if I do, well, it's winter time where I am, and it's cold where I am, and I have a fireplace, and I like to sit up with my fireplace and my dog, and I just lost the dog, which is really painful because I'm a dog fanatic, but I have large breed dogs, and I've got one now, and we sit up in front of the fire and we'll watch a movie. I like to watch movies. I'm a chick, so I like the comedy, the light, romantic comedies. That's my favorite genre.
Okay.
Something mindless, man. Unless it's a really interesting sci-fi or historical movie that just draws me in, well done. Those I like too. But TV, for me, there's one show that makes me laugh. Well, actually, there's two, and it's not, everybody's like, oh, Scandal. I don't watch Scandal.
Okay.
I grew up in D.C., so, it's like enough already. But I'm so happy for Kerry Washington because I think she's lovely. And I'm happy to see that show existing. I don't watch it, but that doesn't mean anything. But I actually watch at night. The last thing I watch before my head hits the pillow typically is every episode of Everybody Loves Raymond and an episode of The King of Queens. And I know that sounds crazy. Leah Remini is hilarious, and I'm so wrong. Just so self-absorbed. The writing on those shows make me laugh out loud. And that is actually, laughter is so important. Humor is so important. So if I'm not reading, which I do as well, I'll be watching like a quick episode, and I'll just watch it a little bit. What is it, Arthur, the guy that plays Ben Stiller's dad, Stiller in there. He's crazy funny. And my favorite episode is when he tries to teach piano lessons, but he doesn't really play piano, so it's a total con. And he scores all these kids from the neighborhood. It's the funniest episode. So I like to laugh a lot, so I like stuff like that.
That's beautiful. Laughter is good for the soul, so that's definitely a good thing. Nothing wrong with that. Now, can you give our listeners one more time your Facebook and Twitter so that way they can connect with you?
Absolutely. I'm Debbie Kirkland, jazz vocalist. Please stop by and like my page. And also on Twitter, I can be found at Deb Kirkland Jazz.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today. Debbie, thank you so much for taking the time out to talk with me today. I really appreciate it. Thank you for inspiring others who may have been listening, and just thank you for sharing with us a little bit of your spirit. I definitely appreciate it.
It was totally my pleasure, Carlton. I wish you and your listeners a very, very happy holiday season. And thank you so much for having me on today.
No problem. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today for KARLTON Says Real Talk. And we will talk with you guys next time. Peace.